सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Jai Shri Krishna. Today is Gita Jayanti itself, the day when Bhagwan Shri Krishna over 3200 BC recited on the battlefield of Kurukshetra the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Today, as we continue our International Gita Forum, we join devotions at SWAHA Sri Ram Dhaam, Upper St. Lucian Road, Digomartin, where Gita Puja, recitation of the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita will take place and offerings to Bhagwan Sri Krishna. As we begin, firstly, we share with you the message from the birthplace of Lord Krishna. The Secretary of the Trust, Sri Kapil Kumar Sharma, who visited and inaugurated our first ever International Gita Forum in 2012. We join him. Following him will be the mantras done by the Pandits at the birthplace of Janma Sansthan as we commence our evening's devotion. Jai Shri Krishna.
Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Charun Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum. Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranata Kleshinasaya Govindaya Namo Namah. It's a matter of immense pleasure that International Gita Forum Caribbean will take place at Sri Ram Dhaam, Digomartin from December 1st to December 4th, 2022. I convey all my best wishes and greetings along with blessings on behalf of Sri Krishna Janambhoomi Trust to the organizing committee of IGF, respected Pandits, members of SWAHA, learned speakers, and also the viewer of IETV. I would like to convey my best regards and obeisance to founder and chairman of International Gita Forum, spiritual leader SWAHA, Sri Ram Dhaam, Honorable Pandit Sri Manidev Prasad Ji, for all of his great efforts and hard work he has put in since several years to make this forum a success, to help the people grow and know more about Lord Sri Krishna, Vedic Sanatan Dharma, its traditions and culture. My heartiest blessings and congratulations to Miss Kalyani Vani Prasad and Pandit Kavish Veda Prasad for their contribution in the success of IGF and also making this forum more adaptable to the younger and more vibrant audience. On the auspicious day of Margashish Krishna Triyodashi, dated 22nd November 2022, learned priest of Sri Krishna birthplace temple, Sri Krishna Janambhoomi temple, will offer a puja and pray to his Almighty Lord Sri Radha Krishna Yugal Sarkar with invocation, Mangalacharan and mantras for the true success of IGF. For all of you wonderful Trinidadians, Krishna devotees, participants, viewers of IETV and all the associates, those are working hard for the noble cause. Now is the time for us to imbibe the divine energy of Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi, the divine energy of the birthplace of Lord Sri Krishna into our lives. experience a blissful state of existence, surrounded by the mantras, and witness the calmness that doing puja brings to us. Jai Sri Krishna.
गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमस्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सेदसादनम् महागणपतये नमः। देवा अवन्तनो यतो विष्णुर्विचक्रमे प्रथिधानि दधे पदम् समोल्लवस्य पांसुरे त्रीणि पदा विचक्रमे विष्णुर्गोपा अदाभ्यः अतो धर्माणि धारयन् विष्णुः कर्माणि पश्यत यतो व्रतानि पस्पसे इन्द्रस्य युज्यः सखा तद्विष्णुः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवेव चक्षुरा ततं तद्विप्रासो विसन्नवो गृहां सस्समिन्दते विष्णोर्यत्परमं पदम्। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। संसमिद्यो वसे वृषन्नग्ने विश्वा न्यर्या इलस्पदे समिद्यसे स नो वसोऽन्याभर सङ्गच्छध्वं सम्पदध्वं सम्भमनांसि जानताम् देवा भागं यथा पूर्वे सञ्जानाना उपासते समानो मन्त्रः समितिः समाने समानं मनसा चित्तमेषाम् समानं मन्त्रमभिमन्त्रयेव समानेन वो अभिसाजोमि समाने आकोतिः समाना हृदयानि वः समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा वस्सु सहसते। ॐ योपां पुष्पं वेद पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवते चन्द्रमा वा अपां पुष्पं पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवते य एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवते। ॐ राजाधिराजाय प्रसय्यसायिने नमो वयं वै श्रवणाय कुर्महे समे कामान् कामकामाय मह्यं कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो ददातु कुबेराय वै श्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः। ॐ देवकी नन्दनाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो कृष्णः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ वृषभानुजाय कृष्ण प्रियाय च धीमहि तन्नो राधा प्रचोदयात्। नाना सुगंध पुष्पाणि यथा कालोद्भवानि च पुष्पाञ्जलिमया दत्त्वा गृहाणां परमेश्वरः मंत्र पुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि। श्री राधा कृष्णाभ्यां नमः।
वंशी विभूषित कराल नवनीरदाभात पीतांबरा दरुण बिंब फलाधरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्द्र सुंदर मुखाधर बिंद नेत्रात् कृष्णात् परम किमपि त्वमहं न जाने। कांति शिताम्रसति निंदित शारदिंदो यत्रैकतौ विलसितामसितांग शोभां वृंदावनेऽपि कृतया मुनिगांग संगम राधा मुकुंद युगलं तदहं नमामि। बरह पीडम नटवर बपु कर्णयो कर्णकारं बिभ्रदवाशा कनक कपिशं वैजयन्तीं च मालां रन्ध्राण वेणुरधर सुदया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दै वृन्दारण्यं सुपदरमणं प्राविशत् गीतकीर्ति। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु। ओम बोलो राधा कृष्ण भगवान की, बोलो राधा रानी की, बोलो आज के आनंद की। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम।
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम् धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे।
ओम वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम। Let us now focus on Prabhu Shri Ram as we perform his puja. Please remain standing. ओम रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः। श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ मनसा स्मरामि श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ वचसा गृह्णामि श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ शिरसा नमामि श्री रामचंद्र चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। ओम श्री सीतारामचंद्राय नमः। राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। Please be seated, devotees. Now on the third floor, Bhagwan Sri Krishna Puja will be performed. Those who have come prepared to do that for the Kavish will firstly perform puja with Radhika Didi and Ronald Chakari through the temples, and then Krishna Puja will be started. While that is being done, on this floor we shall have Shri Krishna Bhagwan discourse. Devotees, today is Gita Jayanti, a day specially dedicated to the worship of Bhagwan Shri Krishna. As we begin, as puja is performed in the various temples, let us firstly focus on Gajanan Swami. Om Tat Sat Shri Vigneshwaraya Namah. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Ganganapate Namah. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvara Anyata Sharanam Nasti त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् करुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष विनायक। विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा संग्रामे संकटश्चैव विघ्नतस्य न जायते। शुक्लाम्बरं धरं विष्णु शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नं ध्यायते सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ गङ्गणपते नमः। ॐ श्रीविघ्नेश्वराय नमः। ॐ गङ्गणपते नमः। माँ दुर्गा ॐ जयन्ती मंगला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमस्तुते। जय त्वं देवी चामुण्डे जय भूतातिहारिणी जय सर्वगते देवी कालरात्रि नमस्तुते। ॐ प्रथमं शैलपुत्री च द्वितीयं ब्रह्मचारिणी तृतीयं चन्द्रघण्टेति कुष्माण्डं चतुर्थकं पंचमं स्कन्दमातेति षष्ठं कात्यायनीति च सप्तमं कालरात्रि च महागौरी तथाष्टमं नवमं सिद्धिदात्री च नवदुर्गा प्रकीर्तिता। ॐ नमश्चंडिकाय। बोले श्री दुर्गा माता की जय। महालक्ष्मी देवी सर्वज्ञे सर्ववरदे सर्वदुष्टभयङ्करी सर्वदुःखहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमस्तुते। सिद्धिबुद्धिप्रदे देवी भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदायिनी मंत्रमूर्ति सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमस्तुते। ॐ श्री सिद्धेश्वरी महालक्ष्मी माता नमः। बोले श्री लक्ष्मी माता की जय। We now focus सरस्वती माँ। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु सरस्वती रूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ॐ ऐ सरस्वत्यै नमः। Devotees, Gita Jayanti celebrates that day when Bhagwan Sri Krishna on the battlefield in Kurukshetra spoke with Arjuna these profound words encapsulated in 700 verses. We now turn our attentions to our third floor where Radha Krishna is established together with Dasavatar. Om Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardhanam देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु गोविन्द गोविन्द हरे मुरारी गोविन्द गोविन्द मुकुन्द कृष्णा गोविन्द गोविन्द रथाङ्गपाणे गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम. We now join as we focus on Shiv Bhagwan. कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि. ॐ नमः शिवाय. यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकम् इव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षमामृतात्. ॐ नमः शिवाय. बोलिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की. Devotees, today is Gita Jayanti. What is Gita Jayanti? Gita Jayanti is the day that the Bhagavad Gita, as I indicated, was recited by Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Now, I want to share with you an interesting fact which I will not develop today, but rather in the academic session tomorrow evening, we will develop this information further. I'll just share with you. Does anyone here in the audience or viewing on media have any idea how old Bhagavad Gita is? It will be astounding to many that this year, 2022, we are using the Gregorian calendar. Now, this is another interesting perspective we all must realize. We are living in the Western world, and we are using a Western calendar. There are other calendars. Different societies have their own calendar. The Hindu calendar also, if you check it, starts counting of time from another point. So basically, all counting of time is done how? From a starting point. We will stick with the Gregorian calendar, which we are all using. Today is December the 3rd, 2022. Do you know, and if you don't, please be informed, that Bhagavad Gita has been dated as having been recited on the battlefield in Kurukshetra. This year marks 5,159 years ago. Now, in the Western society, there has been the tendency to discredit and discount anything that doesn't support their point of view. So, if we speak of something that occurs before they started counting time, what they would say? Oh, that's a myth. Only what they say is history. Everything else is myth. I do not want to go along developing this tonight as we want to discuss Bhagavad Gita itself. But suffice it to say, Bhagavad Gita, revelation, these words of Sri Krishna, were recited in Kurukshetra, the battlefield. Kurukshetra exists to today. In fact, over the last few years, in Kurukshetra, the government of Haryana has started an international Gita Mahotsav, a huge festival to promote and develop Gita further. Devotees, our own International Gita Forum, as you know, is 12 years old, 11 years old. This is our 11th international. Gita itself, we know of its origin because of the Mahabharata war. The Mahabharata war has been dated. There have been those who doubted the authenticity of Sri Krishna as a person also. But do you know, there is so much evidence that Sri Krishna exists as a human historical figure. So, as I commence tonight, as we enter the pages of Gita, I want to establish with you, firstly, that these 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita are 5,159 years old. So if it's 5,159 years old, then it predates all other treatises on philosophy. There is no philosophical treatise that predates Gita, the verses of Gita. So that the suggestion by some that, you know, what is written in Gita comes from somewhere else, which was written after Gita, couldn't be accurate. So as we begin our Gita study this evening, I want you to recognize that what this represents is a historical fact where Bhagwan Sri Krishna recited to Arjuna these verses. Now at this stage, I invite you to join together with me as we glorify Bhagwan Sri Krishna firstly, and then we will explore chapter 14, which is the selected chapter for this International Gita Forum. Jai Krishna Hare, Shri Krishna Hare, ko dukha dur kare, Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Devotees, Gita itself starts where Arjuna is on the battlefield of life and is facing a challenge where, what happens? He has to make decisions that were difficult. Is there any one of us who don't have to make difficult decisions? In life, situations always arise where difficult decisions have to be made. How do you decide? How do you know what is right from what is wrong? Do you just depend on your own whim and fancy? Or do you have a moral code by which you live? Bhagavad Gita presents that moral code. Devotees, Arjuna was faced in a situation where what? He had to enter battle with those who were his blood relatives. Now, a question arises. Krishna Bhagwan tells Arjuna, what you need to look at is duty. What is right from what is wrong? What is your duty? Bhagavad Gita gives us duty, our duty, as the primary object and motivation for all that we do. If we do not perform our duties, then we would be failing. Arjun experienced this uncertainty. What is right from what is wrong? And they were refused what was rightfully due. And there was no alternative but war. And on the battlefield, after going through all of this, now holding the bow in his hands in the middle of the battlefield, Arjun begins having doubts and doesn't know what is right from what is wrong. And this is the entire treatise of Bhagavad Gita. How he asks Bhagwan Sri Krishna questions and how Bhagwan Sri Krishna answers. On Thursday night, we would have read the entire Bhagavad Gita. I trust some of you may have been reading the English as we went along if you wouldn't be comfortable with the Sanskrit. So you'd have gotten the verses, what the meaning of the verses. Tonight, we can't deal with everything, so we are doing chapter 14, the Yoga of Devotion. Devotees, the Yoga of Devotion is very critical for our development. As we prepare to enter the pages of Bhagavad Gita, we glorify Him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Bole Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai. Devotees, we have copies of the Gita for those who may have an interest. You can take them home also, those who are present. It's for only on condition that you read it. No point taking it and placing it in our homes as a murti that is just bowed to. Scripture requires study. You know, I remember the Shankaracharya rather, had told me this. He had given one of his chelas a Bhagavad Gita. Person received it with great love, put it in his forehead, then took a piece of cloth, wrapped it, and placed it in his puja area. And every day he would offer a flower on the book when he lit his diya. Shankaracharya went back about 3 years later to do puja. And what happened? He showed him, the disciple showed him the Gita. Baba, Guruji, look how nice I have it preserved. It's in a nice red cloth and here. Shankaracharya asked him one question. Very nice, you're keeping the book very nice. How often in the last 3 years did you open it and read it? The disciple was flabbergasted because he never did. Devotees, we do not appreciate and we do not know the greatness of Bhagavad Gita until you have explored it. Don't expect to understand everything, ever. Repeated practice, which we will hear, is what will help us develop. So, chapter 14, I invite you to focus on Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Om शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुभवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्. Devotees, people worship God in one of two ways. One, as an impersonal, unseen, unembodied being. In Hinduism, is called Nirakar Brahm. And secondly, Bhagwan is worshipped how? With a form. Shri Raam, Shri Krishna, Ganesh Baba, all the various names and forms that we have. So in chapter 14, the question is asked, Arjuna Vach, Evam Satyuktaye Bhaktastvām parupāsate ye chāpaksharam vyaktam tesham ke yogi vatamaha. Arjuna said, "O Bhagwan Krishna, there are devotees who constantly worship you, devoted to you as a person. And then there are those who worship you as an impersonal being, one without name, one without form." He asked the question, who are the best knowers of yoga, who are most likely to succeed between these two? Devotees, when I tell you focus on Bhagwan, each of us would have our own Ishtadev. I say focus on Shri Ram, you have that form to focus on. If you don't focus on forms, if you are using impersonal Nirakar Brahm, then what do you think of? We are living in a world of names and forms, and so it's very difficult for us as embodied beings to understand that which is without form. How do you relate to it? Shri Bhagwan Uvach, Maya Vesha Mano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhya Paryopetaste Me Yukta Mamataha. Now listen to Lord Krishna's words in response to this question. Which is the better mode of worship? Formless or Bhagwan with a form? Shri Bhagwan said, I consider them to be the best yogis who, endowed with supreme faith and ever united through devotion to me, worship me with their mind centered on me. So Krishna Bhagwan is establishing in chapter 14 right away that worship of the personal form, Krishna Bhagwan, is preferred. And he explains. Those, however, now this is important. Sanatan Dharma allows for every shade of belief in it. There isn't anything in Sanatan Dharma where, like there are those, let me put it this way, there are those, like those who believe in Nirakar Brahm, or God without a form, sometimes what they say, that God doesn't assume a form. You can't have any image of God. You can't use any image to worship God. And my immediate question to that is, why? Are you God's father? It might sound like a ridiculous question, but understand my point. You are saying what God can and cannot do. So you are placing limits on God. God by nature is limitless. So on what basis can someone say that God would never assume a form? God so loves this world, in our time of need, He Himself comes. Yada yada hi dharmasya. That verse we use at lighting of the lamp is a verse of hope. When we are in difficulties, our Lord manifests Himself for our protection. Devotees, that's a very core belief. So, He is saying, those who worship me in my embodied form, they are very likely to succeed. But having said that, He does not negate or say it is wrong to worship Him in a formless state. So, in other words, you would find that about Sanatana Dharma. We don't tell people they are wrong, because we don't claim to have exclusive knowledge of God. And in no one book, no matter what the book is there all information on God. That is arrogance, to assume anybody has one book that have everything there is to know about God. That's dogma. And Bhagavad Gita is not about dogma at all. It's about intellect, analysis, and devotion. So he says in this verse, if you read it yourself, those who have copies, those, however, who fully controlling all their senses and even minded towards all and devoted to the welfare of all beings, constantly adore as their very self the unthinkable, omnipresent, imperishable, indefinable, eternal, immovable, unmanifest, and changeless Brahm, they too come to me. So devotees, if there is any who prefer to worship Bhagwan not in a form, nothing is wrong with that. There are some sects in Hinduism itself who do not accept Bhagwan as in a personalized form. They find place in Hindu theology. But hear what Sri Krishna says. Of course, the strain is greater for those who have their mind attached to the unmanifest, as attunement with the unmanifest is attained with difficulty by people who are centered in a body. Devotees, as I talk to you, simple thing. I've always used this example. If I say, sit on the chair, and everybody knows what a chair is, because it's within your experience. Even as I speak to you, whatever words I use, they convey meanings, because you have that meaning with you. If, however, I say to you, I am trying to describe something, God who is without a form, God who is without a name, and yet still some people, they say God is formless, but they ascribe gender. He is Supreme Lord. Why is it not a woman? Why is it not a female? Why is it not neuter? You understand the point? It's logic we need to assess. So even when we say the Lord, it signifies what? Something within our experience, agenda. So we cannot speak of Nirakar Brahm. It's difficult speaking of God without a form and worshipping a God without a form, because it is outside our experience. However, devotees, so Krishna Bhagwan says, both those who worship me with a form and those who worship me unmanifest, they both will attain me. But the strain is greater for those who seek to worship me without a form. So now he comes to tell us how to worship him. Verse 7. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sannyasa matparaha ananyeva yogena dhyayantu pasate teshamaham samuddharta Mrityu sansara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshat chetasam. Now Krishna Bhagavan is speaking to us directly. Those who worship him with a form. He says, those depending exclusively on me and surrendering all actions to me, worship me, God with a form, constantly meditating on me with single-minded devotion, such people, Arjun, I speedily deliver from the ocean of birth and death, their mind being fixed on me. Devotees, chapter 12, devotion to Shri Krishna. We are being told by him very clearly, we should seek to worship him in his form, Bhagwan Sri Krishna. That's why he says, he establishes this point further in verse 8. Therefore, fix your mind on me and establish your intellect in me alone. Thereafter, you will abide solely in me. There is no doubt about it. Devotees, we are being advised in this Gita forum, in this Gita Jayanti day, again, to do what? To refix our minds on Bhagwan Sri Krishna. He is saying to us that if you fix your mind on me and establish your intellect in me alone, you will abide in me. There is no doubt about it. In other words, as we paraphrase and think about it, we can't be worshipping Bhagwan Sri Krishna, Bhagwan Shri Raam, whichever form of divinity we worship, and at the same time have doubts. Devotees, we are doing Gita, we are talking about Shri Krishna. If you are devoted to Shri Krishna, be focused on him totally. Develop firm faith, develop firm love, no matter what comes in life. Look at what Arjun does. Arjun is in a tremendous crossroad of thought, what to do, what not to do. But he places his trust in Bhagwan Sri Krishna. And here Krishna Bhagwan, he is establishing in this chapter 12 that we should focus on him. Now, how many times for the day do we think of Sri Krishna? He is saying, establish your intellect in me alone. Whatever you do, even as you go about your worldly affairs, never lose thought of Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Now he says, some people walked in, we would turn to see them, see what they're doing. Something might cross our mind, something we forgot to do home. For the day today, I want you to reflect back. Today is Gita Jayanti day, when he has heightened awareness of the worship of Shri Krishna. Question, how much time today, now you don't have to answer me, right? You're answering yourself. How much time today did you spend on contemplation of Shri Krishna? Worshipping Shri Krishna all the time, thinking of him all the time is not easy. It takes practice. No? And that's what he says. The next verse, Atachitam samadhatum na shaknosi mai sthiram abhyasa yogen tato mama ichhaptu dhananjaya. If you cannot steadily fix the mind on me, Arjun, then seek to attain me through the yoga of practice. Seek to attain me through the yoga of practice. In other words, if you now think about it, how much time did I think of Lord Krishna today? And you realize, look, I didn't think of him much, Then, as you catch yourself, you begin practice. I think on Sri Krishna. I reflect on His glories. I spend time, and that's where daily reading of Gita comes in, where you spend some time in studying Sri Krishna. Now he says, now he gives us options. So if you cannot do this even, he then says, okay, so if you can't think of me all the time, even when you keep practicing, it's not happening, you can't, your mind is divided. Then he says, this verse, if you are unequal even to the pursuit of such practice, then be intent to work for me. Devotees, you shall attain perfection in the form of my realization, Sri Krishna is saying, even by performing actions for my sake. Devotees, most of you here, most people who would have done puja, when you're making an offering, Panditji will tell you what? He'll give you two words to say. Krishna Arpan. Anybody remembers that? You know what Krishna Arpan means? I am giving in the name of Lord Krishna. I am serving in the name of Lord Krishna. You know, even at the International Gita Forum, even at Gita Jayanti, even in religion, have a lot of arrogance and pride. Many people perform actions, but they are not really serving Lord Krishna, they are serving themselves. They are looking for what? Self-advancement. People must know me. Like I remember somebody saying to me once, interestingly, Baba, why are you doing this courses with a mask on? People ain't seen you. Why that important? We are in a COVID situation, this is for security. But some people, no, I'm not saying everybody wear a mask, right? Everybody determines for themselves. So if in my case, the point is, it's not about showing your face. It's about serving Lord Krishna. It's not about who knows. It's about you knowing. And these are some of the things. If you think about it, many times even people in temples, when they get vexed, you know why? Because it's ego. You're not working for Lord Krishna really. Anytime, because if you're working for Lord Krishna, then you're doing your duty. You just do your duty. Devotees. So what he is saying, opportunities for service to Lord Krishna, take them. International Gita Forum is here. Monthly there is pujas. Whichever option you want to take. What he is saying, work for him. So he says, try and think of me all the time. You can't think of me all the time, practice thinking of me. Practice meditation on me. Even if you can't do that properly, then whatever time you allocate, when you're working, work for me. Work for Lord Krishna. Devotees. Then he says, okay, even if you are working for me, the next verse now, so look at the steps he's giving us, right? Think of me all the time. Krishna Bhagavan says, you can't do that, keep practicing. Even as you practice and you realize you can't do it, I'm just reinforcing. He says, well then, start working for me. Whatever you do, Brian, when you come to the temple and you sweep the ground, it's not for the temple. It's not for Auntie Krishna Day, who manages the functions, but rather it is for you, your service. For whom? Sri Raam, Sri Krishna. This is the attitude that we should have. So when I have an opportunity to come, when I'm here doing katha, it's not for me to promote. That's the thinking. To know how much people here. You know, I've seen it already, Pandits come to do our service, and the service changes depending on how much people it have. Who's seen them? Singers also. Everybody, sometimes it happens to them, so we should check ourselves. Work for Lord Krishna. That is what we are being told. Whatever we do it as service for Lord Krishna. Then he says, if taking recourse to the yoga of my realizations, you are even unable to do this, even if you have difficulty working for Lord Krishna, devotees, this is important as it gets. If you cannot even do this, then he says, subdue your mind and intellect, relinquish the fruits of all actions. Devotees, relinquishing the fruit of all actions brings immediate peace. He says, knowledge is better than practice without discernment. Meditation to God is superior to knowledge, and renunciation of the fruit of actions is even superior to meditation. Why? For peace immediately follows renunciation. Devotees, I want to think about the last time you were disappointed. Why were you disappointed? Because an expectation you had did not materialize. Think about it logically. Many times, when we fail to achieve the goal that we seek, then what happens is that disappointment comes. I think that when I am finished IGF, somebody should come and say to me, oh, well done, excellent, Baba, real good. And nobody does that, what happens? If that's my expectation, then what happens to me? Disappointment. Krishna Bhagavan says, perform your duty, renounce the fruits of the action. Do what has to be done because it is your duty. You know, I will look after my mother because you know why? I want to get a house. And when the mother gives the next son the house, what happens? So in other words, why should I serve my mom? The true approach should be, I serve my mom because it is my duty to do that. Whatever comes, comes. Whatever doesn't come, doesn't come. But I perform my duty. I want to think of this very seriously, devotees. We would avoid heartache and pain many times if we could develop this attitude of renunciation. He says no matter renunciation of the fruits of actions, no matter what we do, what we say, if the motive is always a result, you will face disappointment. Sometimes you may be happy, sometimes you may be sad. Bhagwan Sri Krishna, he says to us, seek to perform actions. As you perform these actions, renounce in your mind the fruits that derive therefrom. Whatever comes, you take it, you accept it. You do something, it didn't work out how it should be done, you learn from it, you move on, but you do not become disappointed. You do something, it's very rewarding, you accept the reward. But even if the reward didn't come, once it is your duty you're performing, you continue doing it. I hope I'm trying as best as I can to convey step by step what Krishna Bhagavan is telling us here. Devotees, we cannot do all the verses of chapter 14, given the time constraint, and also I don't want to have information overload. So let's recap. We can worship God as formless and with a form. Arjuna asks, which of the devotees who are worshipping you is best? Krishna Bhagavan establishes that both, those who worship me as a formless being and those who worship me with a form, they both can come to me. But the person who worships me formless, it is more difficult. There is a greater strain. he suggests instead, he advises. And if Krishna Bhagwan gives us an advice, shouldn't we take it? The devotee would. And you know, that's something at the end of Gita too. Bhagwan Sri Krishna. I just want to find that verse, if I can do it very quickly. Chapter 18, verse 67. I'll just read the English. This secret gospel of the Gita should never be imparted to a person who lacks in austerity, nor to him who is wanting in devotion, nor even to him who is not willing to hear, and in no case to him who finds fault with me being Lord Krishna. So devotees, there is no force in Hindu theology. We all are here because we want to be here. We are all here because we have belief in Shri Krishna. If you prefer worship God as a impersonal being, Krishna Bhagwan validates that it's valid. It is fine. But it's easier to worship him. And he advises, what should we do? Surrender to him. Think of him all the time. Fix your mind on me, meditate on me. If you can't do that, then keep trying, keep practicing it. Every day, see how much time you can spend after this Gita Jayanti tonight. Let's not forget Lord Krishna till next Gita Jayanti. What we should do, get your Gitas, start reading, start exploring what Krishna Bhagwan says. Read his Katha, read Gita, and you will see how it will start transforming you. He says, if you cannot fix your mind on me like this, then keep trying the yoga of repeated practice. And even if as you do that, if you can't be thinking of me all the time, then start working for me. Find ways to do things that is work for me. And as you work for him, he says, don't look for reward. Once we relinquish fruits of action, so we start working for Lord Krishna, but don't get an attitude of superiority. I'm a devotee of Lord Krishna. I do this, I do that, I do the next. Whatever you do, you do. But what is important is that at this stage now, he's saying to us, relinquish the fruits of actions. Don't look for reward. Do what has to be done as an act of service. Remember, Krishna Arpan? And in so doing, he says, peace will immediately follow. Devotees, at this stage, I would conclude our discourse, because this, I think, is enough for tonight for us to begin practicing. Now, devotees, Gita Jayanti gives us this opportunity, really, to improve ourselves. The worship of Lord Krishna gives us the opportunity to truly improve ourselves. And so, I pray that Bhagwan Sri Krishna, his blessings will be with all of us. We continue these practices aimed at worshipping Sri Krishna, the intention being to develop our love. Now, one of the practices we have is the Chapan Bhog, where devotees arrange prasad, various types of prasad for Lord Krishna. This year, as we resume, we are doing only saltless. So that preparation is being made on the 3rd floor, while devotees are still performing puja at this stage. I will invite members of Sri Raam Dhaam who are sitting facing you to perform bhajan. I invite them to lead in a bhajan or two as we prepare for Chapan Bhog. Let's all join as we glorify Bhagwan Sri Krishna.
जय बाल मुकुंद कृष्ण गोविंद यशोमती की लाल की। ये मुरली मनोहर मधुर सलोना मधुसूदन की आरती। जय बाल मुकुंद प्रकाश कराने वाला परमार्थ बताने वाला। ये श्याम सुंदर की वरदी धरती स्वरूप और उजियारी। ये मुरली मनोहर मधुर सलोना मधुसूदन की आरती। जय बाल मुकुंदा। ये अमृत वाणी वेद बखानी संतर जाने वाला। भव पार कराने वाला। ब्रह्मज्ञान यही सर्वधाम यही कुंदन मोहन कविराज। ये मुरली मनोहर मधुर सलोना मधुसूदन की आरती। जय बाल मुकुंदा। ये संपत्ति दाता भग को मिटाता भीर मिटाने वाला। धन ज्ञान भराने वाला। कभी कृष्ण हृदय में दीप जले अगगंता भागनी वाले। ये मुरली मनोहर मधुर सलोना मधुसूदन की आरती। जय बाल मुकुंदा। जय बाल मुकुंदा कृष्ण गोविंदा यशोमती की आरती। ये मुरली मनोहर मधुर सलोना मधुसूदन की आरती। जय बाल मुकुंदा। जय बाल मुकुंदा। जय बाल मुकुंदा। एक बार फिर तो आऊं बने बने बिछड़ने वाले। लीला दिखाओ भगवान लीला रचाने वाले। एक बार फिर तो आऊं बने बने बिछड़ने वाले। एक बार फिर तो आऊं। कर असुर सताए, तो राधिका हमको बनकर असुर सताए, तुझसे बचाओ भगवान, जिंदगी बचाने वाले एक बार फिर तो आओ, बन बिछड़ने वाले एक बार फिर तो आओ। गिरिवर उठाए तुमने, गज को बिछाए तुमने, गिरिवर उठाए तुमने, गज को बिछाए तुमने, अब फिर वही समा है, नटवर कहने वाले एक बार फिर तो आओ, बन बिछड़ने वाले एक बार फिर तो आओ।
Puja, please come within 5 minutes after this bhajan to perform Krishna Puja. If you have already performed Puja, no issues, just in case there is anybody remaining.
Jai Nandalala, Jai Gopala, Jai Nandalala, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Govinda.
Kanha Kandaya Nandalala Umuliwala Kana Kandaya Nandalala Umuliwali Aise Bajai Murali Murali Hajadu Bari Kana Kandaya Nandalala Umuliwali Aise Bajai Murali कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाले ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरली जादू बड़ी देखो करे कन्हाई रास रास रचाई देखो करे कन्हाई कैसे रास रचाई ऐसे गान सुनाई सुधपुर सब बिसराई पाका चला निराला वो मुझे वाले ऐसे बजाए मुरली जादू बड़ी कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाले ऐसे बजाए मुरली जादू बड़ी कान्हा कृष्ण मुरारी गोवर्धन की डारी काहे मात की गोरी सुन के नीत गिराई आए बड़े ब्रजमाला वो मुरली वाले ऐसे बजाए मुरली जादू बड़ी कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाले ऐसे बजाए मुरली जादू बड़ी माखन चोर दुलारा नटखट सबका प्यारा माखन चोर दुलारा नटखट सबका प्यारा मनमोहन मन पावन नाम लेते जग सारा माधव मुकुंद मधुबाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली जादू बड़ी कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाले ऐसे बजाए मुरली जादू बड़ी कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाले ऐसे बजाए मुरली जादू बड़ी मुरली जादू बड़ी मुरली जादू बड़ी
Holy Shri Krishna Chandra ki jai. Now devotees, we are now on the third floor where Radha Krishna is established. We are about to perform our Chapan Bhog, offering of, I think it's over 56 dishes. It's 63 dishes prepared in honor of Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Firstly, I will offer a stotra and all who have been prepared, who have been part of this process of preparation, not just for IGF daily, but here for made this offering of Chapan Bhog. I invite you to now focus on Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Pray in your own words. मधुराष्टकम् अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं मधुराधिपते अखिलं मधुरं वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वचनं मधुरं गोविंद गोविंद हरे मुरारी गोविंद गोविंद मुकुंद कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद रथांग पावे गोविंद दामोदर माधव. We shall now perform our congregational Shri Krishna worship and offering of Chapan Bhog. I would invite Ronald to lead us in appropriate kirtan.
जो दायक फल चार बंदो गणनायक चरण शुभ गुण सदन उदार विघ्न हरण मंगल चरण मूक होई वाचार माधव कृपा खदाक्षसो बंदो श्री नंदलाल पंगुचरहि भूधर शिखर वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु. गोविन्द गोविन्द हरे मुरारी गोविन्द गोविन्द मुकुन्द कृष्ण गोविन्द गोविन्द रथाङ्गपाणे गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति. श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा. शरणागतं कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण
Everyone place their Maya. Everyone will complete their arati during the final arati. Let's focus on Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Hey Bhagwan, to the best of our ability, we've prepared these offerings, Chapan Bhog as it were, in all our various homes. And we've come together as a community, as a family, SWAHA Shri Raam Dhaam, at our International Gita Forum to make this offering. Om Tat Sat Naivedyam Samarpyami. Offer in your words. Om Sakarakhad Khadyani Dadhi Shirahara Chahe Bhaksh Bhojan Krishna Bhagwan Prithiyartham Pratighitam. Om Naivedyam Samarpyami. Bolye Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai. We now, as we prepare, we join as we glorify Shri Krishna again.
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपबाला गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरलीकांत गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपबाला गोपाल हरे हे मुरलीकांत
Shri Krishna Chandra ki jai. Devotees, we are fast approaching the end of our devotion. Our offerings have been made. At this time, I want to acknowledge Kalyani, who is joining us via media, as it were, performing Krishna Puja. She extends her best wishes to all. She has coordinated the Chapan Bhog, and she wants to say thank you to everybody who has ensured that this year it has restarted. It's a wonderful moment for us to return to temple. Now, we join in our Gita Arati. Process will be simple. Everybody take their time. It's not a large number of people. So you come forward, perform your Arati for Shri Krishna, receive Chandan from Pandit Kavish, and then return. So you come from one side, please, and exit through the middle. Yeah, so that way it's more comfortable for everybody. I will lead in Bhagavad Gita Arati, and following that, then all the devotees of Sri Ram Dhaam, all the singers, Johnny, everybody, you can continue. We will continue Kirtan until we're ready to finish. Jai Bhagavad Gita, Jai Bhagavad Gita, Jai Bhagavad Gita, Jai Bhagavad Gita. Harihi Kamal Viharini Sundara Supunite. Harihi Kamal Viharini Sundara Supunite. Jai Bhagavad Gita, Jai Bhagavad Gita. कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनी कामा शक्ति हरा तत्व ज्ञान विकाशिनी वेद्या ब्रह्म परा. जय भगवद
गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते.
निश्चल भक्ति विदायिनी निर्मल मलहारी. निश्चल भक्ति विदायिनी निर्मल मलहारी. शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी सब विधि सुखकारी. जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते.
जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते.
राग द्वेष विदारिणी कारिणी मोद सदा. राग द्वेष विदारिणी कारिणी मोद सदा. भव भय हारिणी तारिणी परमानंद प्रदा.
जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते.
आसुर भाव विनाशिनी नाशिनी तम रजनी. आसुर भाव विनाशिनी नाशिनी तम रजनी. दैवी सद्गुणदायिनी हरि रसिका सजनी.
जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते.
समता त्याग सिखावनी हरिमुख की बानी. समता त्याग सिखावनी हरिमुख की बानी. सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी, सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी, श्रुतियों की रानी. जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते.
जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते.
दया सुधा बरसाविनी मातु कृपा कीजे. दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा कीजे. हरिपद प्रेम दान कर अपनो कर लीजे.
जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते, जय भगवद गीते।
आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। गले में बैजंती माला, माला बजावे मुरली बुरबाला, बाला श्रवण में कुंडल जल काला, जल काला। नंद की नंद श्री आनंद चंद, मोहन ब्रज चंद, राधिका रमन बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। गगन सम अंतिकाली, अंतिकाली राधिका चमक रही आली, आली। रतन में चंद बनमाली, बनमाली। प्रमा से अलग कस्तूरे तलक, चंद सी झलक लत छवि श्याम प्यारे की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। आरती कुंज बिहारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की। श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की, श्री गिरिधर कृष्ण मुरारी की।
मुरली श्रीगरा, मुरली श्रीगरा, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम। केशव माधव राघव नंदन, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम। केशव माधव राघव नंदन, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम। नवरत चोरा राधे श्याम, नवरत चोरा राधे श्याम। केशव माधव राघव नंदन, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम। केशव माधव राघव नंदन, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम। मुरली श्रीगरा, मुरली श्रीगरा, नवरत चोरा राधे श्याम, नवरत चोरा राधे श्याम। केशव माधव राघव नंदन, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम। केशव माधव राघव नंदन, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम। केशव माधव राघव नंदन, राधे कृष्णा राधे श्याम।
शरणागतं कृष्ण, शरणागतं कृष्ण। Let us all join. शरणागतं कृष्ण, शरणागतं कृष्ण, शरणागतं, शरणागतं, शरणागतं कृष्ण, शरणागतं, शरणागतं, शरणागतं कृष्ण। सुस्वागतं कृष्ण, सुस्वागतं कृष्ण, सुस्वागतं कृष्ण,
सुस्वागतं कृष्ण सुस्वागतं 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 कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण शरणागतं कृष्ण ॐ वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः ॐ यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूति ध्रुवनीतिममृतम् ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम wherever Bhagwan Krishna is the Lord of Yoga and wherever is Arjun the wielder of the Gandhi bow, glory, victory, prosperity and unfailing righteousness will so surely be there. Such is my conviction. Om Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yat Pujatam Maya Deva Paripurnam Tadastu Me Papaham Papakarmaham Papatma Papa Sambhava Trahinam Pundarikaksha Sarva Papharo Hari Yadaksharam Param Brashtram Matrahinam Cha Yad Bhavet Tat Sarvam Ksham Om Yadaksharam Param Brashtram Matrahinam Cha Yad Bhavet Tat Sarvam Kshamyatam Devam Om Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Om Shri Ramachandra Charanam Mansa Smarami Shri Ramachandra Charanam Vachasa Vinami Shri Ramachandra Charanam Shirisha Namami Shri Ramachandra Charanam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Sita Ramachandraya Namah Shri Radha Krishnaya Namah Om Govinda Govinda Hare Murari Govinda Govinda Mukunda Krishna Govinda Govinda Rathanga Pane Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Bhagwan Sri Krishna Radharani Hey Bhagwan, to the best of our ability we have sought to worship you, to promote your name. On this Gita Jayanti day, each of our sacrifices and all devotee sacrifices you know. You know our innermost thoughts, our desires, what is right for us, what is wrong for us. Bhagwan, as you guided Arjuna, place that hand of guidance in our lives. May we achieve success, peace, lasting happiness through your grace, O Shri Krishna. Om, let's join. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loudly, lovingly, let's proclaim victory to Bhagwan Sri Krishna. बोलिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की जय, सीताराम चंद्र की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, गीता माता की जय, स्वाहा माता की जय। गर्व से कहो हम हिंदू हैं। बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. As we conclude tonight, I want to say special blessings to all who have participated in Gita Jayanti celebrations at SWAHA Sri Ram Dhaam, all who have witnessed it, all throughout the world who are worshipping Sri Krishna. We pray that His blessings be with you. To the members who have been part of creating International Gita Forum, our coordinator, Kalyani ji, all the members of Sri Ram Dhaam, Auntie Maya, Auntie Krishna, Curtis, who has been with us from the inception, also Johnny, Mala, all the families, I can't call the name all, you know yourselves, and you know my shortcomings. But I pray that the blessings of Shri Krishna be with you and with all of us as we continue the journey of life. Tomorrow, we have our academic forum to complete IGF 2022 Caribbean. I pray that Shri Krishna's blessings be with us. Jai Shri Krishna. We will, Krishna will be happy.